What is up, my coconut bras, and welcome back. And in this video we're going to be covering the game that happened 6 days ago between Playing Ducks and Sisu. Now don't worry, I am going to be covering all of the new games that just happened yesterday, all of the really good ones that I see where there's a lot of plays. I will be covering all of the current ones, but the reason I really wanted to cover this one that is 6 days old is because Sisu is just one of the completely top and dominant teams in the world right now. They are bringing all kinds of innovation. Like every single time I watch Sisu play, there's like pretty much every single player on the team does something that I'm like, whoa, holy cow, I've never seen that before. So I definitely need to share that with you, bras. And this first spot I have seen in other Pro League games before, so Sisu probably did not invent this spot, but I'm going to start off with this one because it'll lead into the next one and the spawn point just in the spawn peak just really well. So basically what's really common at a lot of the start of the games, even at just regular high levels, platinum, diamond, whatever you're playing, somebody will come over here, they can rappel up, watch the hall, cut off roamers, they can even stand in the middle, lie down as you saw in the clip earlier, and this cuts off people roaming upstairs bedroom if they need to rotate down in the bed, just completely makes an awesome pinch point. Now let's move on to the next spot.
Yeah.
And as such, I don't think they're going to be this.
I don't see any surprises coming out from Sisu today, except for maybe this little peek here. We just said it.
No surprises, none whatsoever.
None whatsoever. The little pixel angle, he's just going to say, okay, we're going to go back. He gets droned out and back down to sight, he will go.
So that was an interesting pixel angle. What he saw from there was some portion of the construction spawn, and he was barely exposed at all.
Alright, so this spawn peak that we are looking at is brought to you by Wilkie of Sisu. This is really sick. First time I've ever seen this in a Pro League game or even in the game in general. And what they're doing, this is really similar to some spawn peaks on Coastline and also here forward base up on the 3rd floor. But basically what you can do is melee out one of the boards from the bottom of the window, and when you do that it creates a tiny little pixel peak on the bottom of the window. And from here I'm going to show you exactly where my bullets are landing. Now technically you wouldn't really want to shoot out the window first, you'd want to just melee the board so that you can see really clearly, and basically you're going to be able to pick off a lot of the people. Like say somebody's running instantly to rappel up and check the hallway because they saw a roamer in the hallway, they're like, oh crap, I'm going to cut him off. But if he fails to check the window, then man, that's going to be insanely dangerous for him. So right there where I just shot, that's going to be the spawn point. A lot of people are just going to come running around this corner, and if they fail to check the window, they're going to get completely annihilated. So this really is a really sick spawn peak. I really like this one, really similar to the Coastline one, but all in all you can tell it's a little bit hard to tell. I know that it's a little bit different color screen because I'm a defender and I'm outside and being detected, but you guys get the point. It's so sick. Now let's see what's moving on in the next clip.
Basically the same defense setup that we saw previously.
Yeah, you can see Playing Ducks snooping. He is opening up a little bit of a rotation, well, not a rotation hole, rather a little line of sight down into the hallway to cut off the defensive operator's rotation. He's also opening up right there at the bottom of the stairs, just in case there happens to be some sneaky, aggressive defensive operator trying to get an early pick. And there is not in this instance.
Yeah, he did note that the door was closed off, so the only thing that he has left to be concerned about is possibly a pre-planned C4 there, but I assume that would already have been blown up.
Yeah.
Alright, so what is happening in this previous clip that you guys just saw is really cool. Basically, they are showing how you can open up pretty much the entire hallway and basically create pinch points so that if somebody tries coming out of objective or even the church or the arsenal room, or armory I guess it's technically called, this complete hallway is going to be being watched from somebody attacking. Now the thing you need to be wary of and you need to be cautious is that they can nitrocell you from the bottom. But what's really sick about this specific spot too is when they reinforce the bottom hallway, it only goes part way up. You will be able to take out and shoot the top of the reinforced wall because the reinforcement does not go all the way up to the roof. So that is really sick. You will be able to see into the spawn point and behind specific shelves and certain areas in the hallway where defenders like to pretty much always go inside each round. So you can pretty much pinch them off, force them to hide in church, force them to hide in the armory, and you can do this pretty much as any class. They were doing it with Buck, which he would probably be one of the best ones. Ash works great too. You can do this with Sledge. So a lot of really good choke points that you can create with this attacking strat.
Wall, but it's still going to be pretty easy for a defender to hold.
As Ironic just took his eyes out as Shate was peeking around from that stock room.
Unfortunate timing for Ironic to miss out on that pick. Not necessarily his fault, though. He's not a psychic.
And this next one is going to be a really, really sick line of sight, preferably with Glaz or somebody with an ACOG. Now, this is just something to keep in mind whether you are attacking or defending. This is another way to basically cut off roamers. What they were trying to do with it is basically check for roamers, cut off their line of pathway for them to run. And I'm going to show you exactly where these bullets landed on either side of this doorway of the lounge and also stockroom. So really, really sick. I'm going to show you what this looks like from Garage 2. He also used this to cut off an angle in Garage if somebody's camping in this little corner. Of course, roamers have a lot of room to work with still, but any time you cut them off is always good.
Open up fireplace wall or take red stairs and open up mining wall.
Ooh, look at this. 2 shields coming out from Sisu. Now, as you just saw, Wilkie, he tested that. That's going to force a vault coming from Playing Ducks if they don't have any explosives to clear those shields, which means it's going to allow the Sisu players to get a good engagement onto any players who choose to vault over those shields.
We're going to have Ash try to go for this peek here. Renua should be leading the way, but no, he has to vault over. He just tested it himself. He's going to go for the quick leap, and he will now get his way further into Cigar. Panari, though, has moved his way into the piano room. Oh, he's going to have to push on over. He's going to get 1 kill there, and Renua goes for a second, but does get taken down. The C4 from Shate, though, will take down Meepy in return. It's a 3-on-2 at the moment as Kanto Raketti comes up from behind the red stairs, taking out Lackey.
And those shields actually being used to great effect from Sisu. The Playing Ducks lineup not really sure what to do about them. And once the Valkyrie opened up that pre-melee'd castle barricade, got her pick, she's like, okay, there's still one in Cigar. And then from there, it's pretty much just, oh, I'm going to come up and be sweeping up the remains.
Take down the Lackey. Now a 2-on-1 as Renewis is going to work his way up the stairs. You have that double shield tactic again. Panari sitting right here. He looks through the crate, and he will go for the shots. Destroys the shield, but cannot land the final bullets. The deagle kill will come out from Panari, and Renewals will fall. It's going to be Sisu taking round number 5. I believe it is now match point 4-1.
Again, Sisu with that double shield strategy working spectacularly for them.
Alright, so this next series of moves and spots as a defender was just so sick. There were so many different things going on, and so I'm just going to cover them one at a time. I think there was like 3 or 4 different things going on all at the same time, and all just lined up incredibly well for them to pick off and get another win in this round. So the first thing they did was they created a choke point right here by placing one shield right next to another so that you cannot run through it. Now, as you guys saw in the clip, the attacking team ran up to it and checked it a couple times just to see if they could run through it. So that alone delayed them just a few seconds, if not even more. It forces them to vault over it and be vulnerable. It's harder to aim while vaulting over. Now, the next thing that was also going on simultaneously was they basically set up a castle trap where you lay a castle wall, you melee it 11 times. It takes 12 melees for it to break. Now, after they meleeed it 11 times, they had somebody in the other room, and basically they're just listening and just listening to each team's callouts, and you can keep track really, really well. And basically, once they got a feel that they were stuck on the shield or it started to delay them a little bit, he just ran up, meleeed it once, instantly started firing, picked off a kill, broke Blackbeard's shield, and then of course he was picked off, but that just threw them off completely, and he was able to make a really, really sick play. And now another little thing that I want to point out that happened just really, really fast. It wasn't a different round, but it was still the same setup. They still had the 2 shields going. They still had the castle wall up, I believe. And I just want to point out that you can shoot through this little hole in the side of this little jewelry case or bookshelf or whatever the hell this thing is. You can shoot through the sides and create a line of sight, and as you saw, he used this to create a line of sight. He started firing there. Of course, he had to strafe out. He can't just sit in one spot while shooting. And look at this. If I come peeking around the corner, I'm going to see that's open. By the time I look, I'm dead already. So surprise, really, really sick spot.
Valkyrie herself. However, a lot of people don't think about this. You cannot establish an angle onto the Valkyrie in that position unless you get on top of the skylight. You can actually get on top of the skylight and establish that angle, but you're exposing yourself quite a bit, and she will have a very strong sound cue if you do so. So Valkyrie's position, in theory, powerful. Although if Renewals opens up that window entirely, he will get a line of sight onto her.
Yeah, and like I said, Renewals
actually, I think she's predicted by the pillar.
The pillar as well as the little shelving units. That is a very good spot there.
The spot that Wilkie is playing in this particular instance is completely not exposed, and he is maintaining control over this skylight, which is delaying Playing Ducks quite a bit. They need to take control of this
Zaronic doesn't see him. He's just got, oh, Wilkie, I wouldn't have done that. I would have let that drone through.
Well, he didn't. He still doesn't necessarily know where she is.
The miner, the train room. But Wilkie, though, picking up that one kill into Zaronic as he tries to go to the window. Now Renewals is going to go for a peek here. Bullets will go flying his way as his shield takes a little bit of damage, it looks like. But
Alright, and I just absolutely love this next tactic they were using. It is so simple and just so basic, and yet it just drained so much time off of the clock. It absolutely amazed me. And so basically all they were doing was they had their Valkyrie player right here sitting in this little spot right here. Now you don't want to get too close to the railing because that can leave you more exposed to somebody roaming on red carpet and also repelling on the window. But as you see, when I sit behind this counter, I'm completely protected from the window behind me, and nobody can stand up on top of that little air conditioning unit on the right and look down at me. And so what that's going to force them to do is that would force them to either drop a perfect nade, which would be very difficult, or for them to completely come up here really exposed. Generally, when there's somebody and his attacker is up here, they're not going to just come up here and shove their face in the glass. They stay as far back as possible while still looking towards the jewelry room area. And so what happened was even Blackbeard, he poked his head up here. Blackbeard got his shield taken out. And of course, it's just really easy to throw a nitro cell if you're listening really well. If you have a badass headset, of course, it'd be so easy to just pick up the direction they're coming from, throw a nitro cell out of here. And it's just so surprisingly simple, and yet it delayed them so much, as you guys saw in the clip. It delayed them so much. They lost the round, forced them to rush in, and they just got picked off one by one. And using this in combination with the whole shield and jewelry room spot was just really sick way to play this round.
It worked them now. The thing is that Sisu's been watching their flank and waiting for those roams 9 times out of 10, and that's why it hasn't been working for Playing Ducks, whereas Playing Ducks, they haven't been paying attention to their flank.
Alright, so in this next spot, I thought this is a really clever spot. So what they had was they had a player playing up top, and they were checking for attackers coming from the red carpet entrance and also just running down here in the little reading room library area. So this is the floor above, and basically he just shot out a tiny little hole. You don't have to make it as big as the one that I just did. I like to make bigger holes just for example to show you guys a little bit easier to see. And I'm going to show you exactly where these bullets land. So really sick. If somebody opens up the door or repels through the window, this is exactly where they're going to be. Their feet are going to get picked off instantly. By the time I looked up, I'm going to be dead already.
Misses all the shots. He finally lands it there. I thought he was just going to go haywire and miss every single one of them. But Shotzi's going to pick up another kill here behind the mirror window. Renewals goes for the shots. He gets 1, but he still has 4 more to go and will not get them as Shotzi. I think he got a 4K that round there, taken on Playing Ducks.
An excellent round from Sisu and Shete in specific going into that round, and we're seeing some very creative things coming out from Sisu, and I didn't know just how much I missed watching Sisu play until I got to see him play again today, because we saw those double shields on their upstairs defense, and then on their downstairs defense, we saw the nice spot coming from the Valkyrie right underneath that skylight. A lot of people don't think about that necessarily, but that spot is pretty, well, indestructible. If you have a player playing underneath you, or another defender playing underneath you, to make sure that none of the attackers can establish control of Red Hall and then pressure you directly from Red Hall, then you cannot be challenged from any angle that you don't want to be challenged from in that specific spot underneath the skylight. And using that spot, they delayed the attacking squad all of their, they didn't delay, they denied flat out the attacking squad all of their upstairs control, and thus won the round.
Alright, so as you guys can tell from the last clip, just you can hear Kix and the announcers just going off, and Kix is one of the best professional players, in my opinion at least. Of course, you guys have your own opinion, but Kix obviously knows what he's talking about. He is just so good, and basically what was going on right here, where he got a 4K, was this Miro was playing right here. He created a line of holes in the wall. So basically, if somebody comes down from the staircase, the Miro player is going to see their legs first, can pre-fire on their head, and if they're coming up first, the person just has so much to check. By the time they focus in on, a really good professional player is going to pick them off 21st. So basically that's going to wrap it up for this video. Of course, we have all the new ones coming up with the new dates set for the finals in Pro League, May 20th and 21st. That is going to be so sick watching those games. There's going to be so many new spots, and it really amazes me how there's only pretty much a few maps inside the Pro League, and every single time I watch it, I can watch the same map over and over again, and you learn something different from each team every single time. So really, really amazing. Let me know what you guys think of this series so far. Love you guys all. See you all very soon. Peace.